trees already, despite the fact it's just around 10 a.m. local time. And speaking of Paris Kadka, he's going to bring himself on to bowl. We've seen him bowl medium pace back in the day, but
he mixes it.
Ball is off breaks.
Yeah. He's a very useful bowler and got wickets times whenever sometime they are looking for wickets. He's trying to do it and normally he's successful in that.
He's going to operate around the wicket to Paul Sterling from the end at which we're commentating, which we're calling the Al Amarat end today. Wendell LeBroy, the match referee today. Our three umpires, all locals from Oman Cricket, Rahul Asher and Vinod Babu are standing. Hari Krishna, the third umpire. Sterling heaves that one into the leg side. There's a man out there, but it's going to soar over his head into the trees. What a shot that is from the big Irish opener. Just for a minute, deep square leg, thought he was in action, but it sailed over his head for six.
It's far away from that field. It went very high, up and there, over the mid-wicket boundary for six. It's a long six.
Yeah, here's the replay on your screens now, and as you can see, it soars miles over the head of deep square leg. Kushal Malla, that is out there at deep square leg. He's on as a sub-fielder.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out who he's on for. Sandeep Lamachani's just briefly off. Dragged down by Paris Kadka. Not a good delivery. Cut away by Sterling. Back-to-back boundaries.
Yeah, it was a short of the length and he had all the time in the world to play. A smashes past gully and 0.4 runs. Today, Paul, I think, is taking cue from Kevin O'Brien, what he did in last match against Hong Kong.
This is the double threat that Ireland have at the top of the innings now, with O'Brien having moved up to open the batting with Paul Sterling. Really clever batting from Sterling. He's gone 6-4 and just happy to clip that one into the leg side for a single.
Lovely batting was part of Paul. He's playing superbly and of course he should have been there, being more responsible among the two at the moment. Because this match is also very critical for Ireland as well as Nepal also.
Whichever side wins this morning will go top of the table in this pentangular series, which for 4 of the 5 sides anyway, they are all building up to the T20 World Cup qualifiers next month.
It is a great opportunity for all the teams playing in this pentangular cricket tournament because the qualifier is just 2 weeks away from it, and they have...
When I said next month, of course, I meant next week. Very soon coming up. We'll have 14 sides battling it out for 6 places. That's going to end the 7th over. And Ireland move to 59 for 1.
It's a very good total.
Looking good. So, Jamil, I'll bid farewell to you for the moment. We've got our first guest commentator coming into the commentary box now. We'll be joined by the Irish team manager, Chris Siddle, who is sporting shorts and a floppy hat. Is that anything to do with the weather, Chris?
Yes, it is quite warm here. It's a lot warmer than it was in February when we're here. I think we're talking to the locals here. The summer's just clinging on as long as it can, and it's a lot more humid and a lot hotter than we expected it to be.
For those perhaps listening back in Ireland, just describe to us the difference in the conditions that the Irish side are used to training in.
Yeah, so the humidity really makes it hard to cool down. You sweat a lot, but the sweat doesn't evaporate so quick, and it kind of sticks to you, and you end up very wet. Your shirts, your pads, everything gets very wet, and you find a lot harder to cool down.
Karen Casey is going to continue from the Muscat end. Balbirnie looks for the quick single. He does get there, and despite the throw going all the way through to the third man, fielder Avinash Bahara, who dropped Paul Sterling. We wonder how crucial that drop's going to be. The end result's just a single. Chris, it looks like this week must have been ideal preparation for you boys.
Yeah, it's been fantastic for us. I think all the teams here will say the same thing. It was great to be able to get out here and play games, back-to-back games, quick turnarounds, double headers, and kind of do everything that we're going to be doing at the qualifiers in the same conditions.
Slower ball from Karen KC onto the hip of Paul Sterling. Happy to just work that for a single. How difficult has it been? 4 games in 5 days in this heat?
Yeah, the 3 games in 3 days was very tough. Particularly we played an afternoon game and then we're straight back for a 9:30 start the next morning, which is very tough on guys. You don't have time to really recover properly in the way that you'd like to. So, but it's been a great test for guys, and some guys have had to really stand up, work hard and make sure they're doing the right things to keep themselves in the best position to play.
Balbirnie comes down the track, gets to the pitch of that, and with mid-off in the circle, as soon as you beat the infield here, it's always going to be 4 runs. Really good batting from Balbirnie. These two starting to tick now. Balbirnie moves to 27. We'll take a look at the replay on your screen. Karen Casey, not extreme pace, so as soon as Balbirnie got to the pitch of that and found the elevation he needed over mid-off, it was always going to be 4. The standard of cricket looks to have been quite good this week as well. You've been pleased?
Yeah, it's been very good. We've played very well. We've probably tried a few things that we wanted to try out in the heat. Lots of bowling changes, lots of things that maybe we wouldn't do in the qualifiers. We've had a chance to try out here.
Another slower ball from Balbirnie. Looks for the sweep shot, and rather acrobatic piece of fielding from Avanesh Bahare. He ends up almost doing the splits, but crucially finds the stop. And he'll be wanting to make amends after dropping Paul Sterling earlier off Sandeep Lamachani.
I think it's also shown this week as well how tight these qualifiers are going to be. I think the Ducks should maybe be a little disappointed how they performed this week, but they've had a few guys come in who didn't play in the Tri-Series in Malahide. It's going to be such a competitive group for both teams, or both groups.
Sterling just runs that one off the face. There's going to be work for the subfielder, Kushal Malla, who gets the throw in and prevents it to just a single. The format that you have coming up in the qualifiers, 2 groups of 7, looks like you definitely need to win 5. You might need to win all 6 to top the group and gain automatic qualification.
Yeah, I think you have to go into that group expecting the need to win all 6. It's I think people might argue we might have a slightly better group with the way Hong Kong have kind of looked. They're maybe a little weaker than we'd expected them to be with the players they've lost, but we're definitely going in there and expecting and hoping to win all 6 games.
Cut away by Balbirnie, backward at point Kushal Malla. That's an outstanding stop from him, one-handed, just drags it in inches from the rope, and he saves 2 runs. The subfielder doing his job with his weaker hand as well, gets his right hand out. Outstanding piece of fielding. Umpire's just checking with him, and in fact it's been given as a 4, so really good honesty from Kushal Malla. See the replay on your screen here. Yeah, did just make contact with the rope.
Yeah, it's a very difficult place to get away with something like that when you're right in front of the Irish dressing room, so it was very good that he was honest about that.
Yeah, I think a few of the Irish boys on the side were maybe indicating boundary 4, were they?
I think he was maybe pressured into that one a little.
A good spirit of cricket from Kushal Malla right down the rope, but it was an outstanding effort. Bit of a change in bowling because it's just going to be the solitary over from the skipper. Paris Kadke is going to go back to the left arm spin of Lalit Singh Rajbanshi. We've seen spin play its part this week, but the wicket's perhaps not turning as much as you might have expected here in the Middle East.
Yeah, I think it maybe turns a little bit more in the morning and then flattens out a little bit and doesn't turn as much in the afternoon. So it's probably a good challenge for us, a good test for us to bat first here and face some of their spin attack and really challenge ourselves before getting to the UAE.
Punched into the offside by Sterling, just going to be a single. The conditions that you'll experience, I think it's Abu Dhabi you go to first, would you be expecting quite similar?
Yeah, we're probably very similar. Pitch at Abu Dhabi is usually very good, be very similar to this pitch. We do play a couple of morning games there, and we play a couple of games that are on the second oval there, which we'd know a little less about. But we've played a lot of games in the stadium and know what to expect there.
Balbirnie looks for the sweep and drags it from well outside the off stump. Just going to be a single. Yeah, I think that second ground in Abu Dhabi is the one where Ireland famously got it to rain for the first time. That's the match advantage against Italy. And there was a bit of rain as soon as you arrived in Oman. What is it about the Irish side, wherever you go?
Funnily enough, I think there's only one country I've toured where it hasn't rained, and that's Scotland.
Ireland are coming off a win in the GS Holding T20 Tri-Series, where you managed to triumph in the most narrow of margins over Netherlands and Scotland. Tell us a bit about that week.
Yeah, I mean that was a great week. Obviously it came together very late after the Euroslam was kind of postponed at the last minute, and it was fantastic for all 3 boards, and Cricket Ireland in particular being able to get that on and get some competitive cricket for everyone.
And I think you were saying it was your first trophy as an Irish manager. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, it was first Tri-Series. We've won a bilateral one, but it was the first chance for me to get a trophy from a Tri-Series, which it's a nice feeling, and hopefully we'll come home with another one at the end of this month.
And speaking here with Chris Siddle, the Irish team manager. He's been kind enough to join us for the middle overs of this T20 international between Ireland and Nepal. That's a brilliant stop at backward point, diving full length to his right. Saves it absolutely certain four.
I think that's something we've noticed this week. The level of fielding with all the teams has been absolutely fantastic, and maybe a big change since the last qualifiers in Ireland in 2015 is all the teams that are going to be there this month are going to be excellent fielding teams, and they're going to really put pressure on you in the field.
Yeah, Dipendra Singh Airi at backward point, diving full length to his right, and about 4 or 5 of the Nepal fielders over to give him a high five and congratulate him on saving 4. Good tactics this though from Rajbanshi. You can see not allowing both Sterling and Balbirnie to go to their favoured sweep or slog sweep as we move to the end of the 9th over. Ireland in cruise control at 74 for 1. Has it been difficult to know what winning scores have been here this week, or have you been happy with the way the batting's been going?
I think we've been pretty happy. It's tough when you first get somewhere trying to figure a past score and play to that, but I think we've become very good at adjusting to what we're doing, especially if we're batting first, and even when we're bowling and teams get away from us at the start maybe, and it looks like, oh, maybe this is a 200 wicket, but we always back ourselves to get back into the game and get a spell on top and restrict teams, and then we know we're capable of scoring 200 in every game, so we try not to worry too much about that, and if things are going well we can change the batting order around, we can move people about, and potentially someone like Mark Adair, Gareth Delaney can come in early, can come in a bit later, and we saw the other day Mark Adair came in much higher up the order than we thought he would, but we were in a good position, so it's great to have that flexibility and kind of work away at that.
We've seen Gareth Delaney operate a little bit at number 4. He was quite successful as sort of a stand-in opener for Paul Sterling in that tri-series in Malahide as Sterling was struggling with a calf injury. But is that something you'll continue to see? You think you'll see a flexibility with the Irish order throughout the qualifiers?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to be in 2020. You're going to get games where it's a bit of a dogfight and you might be chasing 120 and lose a couple of early wickets, and you need someone to potentially go in there and score a run of ball or just shy of that and really stabilise things. And there's going to be times where you're 120 for 1 after 15 overs and you want someone like Gareth or Mark Adair to go in and
absolutely smash it into the offside. I think you were just about to say
do something like that.
Paul Sterling's done it right on cue for Chris Siddle, because it was absolutely in the slot from the change of bowling. Avanesh Bahara has come into the attack renowned for his slingy Yorkers. He's found the slot though, and Paul Sterling has smashed that away. Here comes the replay. Powerfully hit into the offside. Really impressive from Sterling. And after the boundary 4 misfield from Binod Bandari. The gloves on the first bye of the day. Signalled. Bahara wouldn't have been someone you'd have seen a lot of, but a slightly different action, a bit Malinga-esque.
Yeah, it is. Little slingy. It's pictures like this, it can, especially if you get a little cross seam on it, it can really skid on and take you by surprise.
Just getting a big smile from Sandeep Lamachani down at third man as he's back onto the pitch. Just off for 3 or 4 overs. Slower ball from Avanesh Bahara, punched down the ground nicely by Balbirnie for a single. These two really seem to enjoy batting together, Chris.
They do, yeah. I think it's hard not to enjoy batting with someone like Paul Sterling or like Andrew Balbirnie. So I think they both feel the same way about Kevin as well. So it's great to have 3 guys at the top that really enjoy batting with each other, really understand each other, and it's sort of been visible in the last 18 months since the top order's been these 3.
Fortune for Sterling. He finds the outside edge, and although Lamachani's quick, he can't get around to cut that one off. It's going to be a boundary 4. Not exactly where Sterling was looking to go, but the outside edge with no slip in place. Even though it was a full toss, looking for the block hole, Bahara. That's what he tries to do, get it full and really tuck up the batsman. But Sterling profits with a boundary 4. Both of these batsmen a little bit shy of runs, which isn't something we've said at any point in 2019. So perhaps today being the day that they'll come into their own and make large scores.
Yeah, I hope so. I think they've both been batting very well, but 2020, the nature of the game is you're not going to score big runs every time, so it's going to be great for these two. They've definitely taken notice of Kevin getting his 100 the other day. That I think it was always kind of inevitable. It was going to be one of those 3. It was going to be the first. Hopefully one of these 2 can follow suit fairly quickly.
More work for Lamachani at third man, and he's going to get the boot out. He's a young man, but he's fielded it like a veteran. And Courtney Walsh or Curtly Ambrose, notorious for that back in the day. But Lamachani gets the foot out. And the fancy footwork saves the 4, but can't prevent the 2. And Ireland really starting to hum now. 87 for 1 in the 10th over. Clever bit of work from Lamachani, perhaps, noting he was in front of the Irish side there.
He's just heard you mention that bit of elderly fielding there and just had a little giggle over towards you there. You do wonder he's just had a couple of overs off the field. Maybe if he's got a little niggle or something's a little sore, maybe it was a deliberate effort to not dive just in case.
Let's take a look at the bowling figures as we reach the halfway point of the innings. Ireland 87 for 1 after 10 overs. Lalit Rajbanshi opened up with his spin twin Sandeep Lamachani. We've seen the seam bowling of Sampal Kami, Karen Casey and Avanesh Bohara as well. Just a solitary over for Paris Kadka, but the Nepal captain is going to continue to ring the changes. He's going to go back to Sampal Kami, who was a little unfortunate. I thought his first over was really sharp and impressive, but 10 runs came from it. Ireland will be looking, perhaps, Chris, to get up towards 180, 190 from the position they're in now.
Yeah, I think if you get a good start, you always got to look towards 200, and really that's becoming the standard target now for most teams. If you're on a good wicket, if you're not scoring near 200, then you're probably going to struggle in the game a little bit. So it's always nice to have that as a target, and obviously the way things are going, you keep wickets in hand and you've got plenty of wickets the last 6-7 overs. It's definitely something that's doable.
Yeah, Sampal Kami is going to come back in. He's a change of end as well. He'll come in from the Al Amrad end near our commentary position here. The Oman Cricket Academy, wonderful facilities, really good running between Sterling and Balbirnie. They get back for 2. All the fielders in the leg side are in the deep, with the exception of Fine Leg, who's in the circle, so plenty of time to get back for 2. Tell us about the facilities here, Chris. They seem world class.
Yeah, it's fantastic facilities. There's 2 full-size ovals with really good squares on them. We're playing all our games on the first oval with the big floodlights. We do most of the practice on the second oval out in the middle, and then the Hughes Net area, huge indoor school here as well. So it's a real fantastic facility that's being built here.
Good pace from Kami, quickest of the bowlers on show so far today. Sterling just punches that one down the ground for a single. The throw comes in, hits middle stump, but no damage done. You will play some matches in the UAE under floodlights. How will you prepare for those? You'll get some training sessions in?
Yeah, so we've got a training session. I think our second or third training sessions under lights while we're there. It's really important because we do have a couple of young guys who've maybe not experienced that before. And it's getting out there, and fielding's the real big thing, getting out and hitting high catches, going in and out of the lights and really adjusting to that and the different colour of the sky and things. That's the real important part.
Short ball, that's on the hook shot. It's come off the top edge. The extra pace has caused this chance, and it's put down. The second drop catch of the innings. There's a little bit of confusion from the fielders running in and those running round, and it ends up that for the second time today, Avanesh Bohara has put down the catch. This one a much more difficult one than the first chance he dropped off Lamachani. He did get there. I'm not sure he got his hands to it, but Sterling survives again.
Yeah, it's always very difficult, those ones, when it's up in the air and it's up there for so long and you know there's other fielders running towards you. It's sometimes difficult to fully commit to it.
Good pace from Sampal Kami. Crucial for Nepal that he's back to full fitness. Of course, a very effective all-rounder with the bat. We'll see him later on. Paris Kadka's probably going to hold the key to this Nepal chase. The man who, just like Kevin O'Brien, made a T20 international century very recently, coming in the Tri-Series in Singapore and Zimbabwe. I've got the Irish team manager to my right, Andrew Leonard, here, bringing you these pictures with Cricket Clubs and Cricket Oman. But Chris Siddle's in the commentary box with me. It's a warm one here in Muscat. How much are you looking forward to the qualifier, Chris, given you missed out on the Cricket World Cup qualifier last year? How important is it to seal qualification, get back to the global stage?
Yeah, obviously it's hugely important. It's a very different type of tournament. It feels a lot quicker, a lot fast-paced. Much better that 6 teams go through from our perspective. I think it's great when you get a World Cup with more teams, a bit more variety. It can really make it more exciting, and especially in 2020 where we've seen even by Nepal not making it to the qualifiers, the competitiveness of teams is incredible.
How surprised are you a side of Nepal's ability, talent, and I suppose fanaticism as well, that they couldn't even qualify from the Asia regional qualifiers. Singapore were the side that got through.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show how much teams are coming on. A lot of the sort of what we would have called lower level associate teams, how quickly they're able to develop in 2020. And one of the key things I mentioned is the fielding, that everyone seems to have picked up on the field, and maybe the way that Ireland did kind of 15 years ago, that they recognise they can all be outstanding fielding teams, and then in 2020 you need one or two strong performances and you can actually roll someone over as a bit of a surprise. And we know Singapore have got 2 or 3 players that are capable of that, and that's clearly what happened in the Asia qualifiers.
And speaking of surprises, were you disappointed with the defeat to the hosts here, Oman, who ran out convincing winners really earlier in the week?
Yeah, I think obviously we're disappointed whenever we lose a game. The conditions are very tough for us, and I think they maybe got away from us a little bit with the ball, and then once we started falling behind and losing wickets, we don't think we were ever really behind the rate, but the way the wickets were falling, we realistically didn't give ourselves a chance to make it the whole way and bat the 20 overs and make the total.
See another change in bowling. Let's see, Raj Banshi will come in for his final over of his allocated 4. Another change of ends for him as well. You can see Sterling looking for the slog sweep but deciding against it. Talk me through that over where he played, I think it was 6 consecutive sweep shots to Sandeep Lamachani.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of almost trying to call each other's bluff, that Sandeep had the field set, tempting him into the sweep, and he was throwing the ball outside off stump and giving him that opportunity, kind of hoping for an edge or an LBW.
Sterling looks to go inside out over extra cover, not exactly where he intended, but he'll end up with a single. He moves to 48, just too shy of another T20 international half century. Bit of deja vu here for Irish fans with the way Sterling and Balbirnie going about their work, reminiscent of earlier in the summer in the ODI format.
It is, yeah, and then even reminiscent of kind of being back here in February, these two and Kevin. The reason we had so much success is when spoke too soon.
Just as we talk about that, Chris Siddle has unfortunately put the mockers on Andy Balbirnie. It was slower through the air from Raj Banshi. It was beautifully bowled, tempted Balbirnie down the track, and because he couldn't quite get to the pitch of the ball, as soon as it turned past his bat, it was always going to be an easy stumping for Binod Bandari. We'll bring you the replay here. I can't explain just how slow that delivery was. Really well held back by Raj Banshi. Got it to drift and dip, and the turn ended up being crucial and affected the delivery, or affected the wicket. So outstanding stuff from him. The second wicket falls for Ireland. That partnership was worth 88, and I'm afraid, Chris Siddle, that one's going to be falling squarely in your head later on.
Yeah, hopefully none of the guys are listening in to the commentary here. It is something we've talked about, and I think it's painfully obvious in most 2020 and ODI cricket that if one of your top 4 can get a big score and bat for a long time, you're in with a chance. If 2 of them can do it, then you're in a very, very good place to win the game, and that's what we're really trying to focus on, is making sure that at least one of those, our top 3 or 4 guys, is getting a score and batting for a long time. Yeah, it's been fantastic for him. I think something that was really important was the Wolves tour in Sri Lanka in January, and then he was part of our tour both here and in India to play Afghanistan, and as much as he didn't get a game, I think that experience really did him very well. He went back in the summer, performed well and got into the team, and it's been fantastic ever since he got his debut.
Skills that the boys have been on the course here once in Oman already.
Yeah, they've got a little competition going for this month. The Northern Knights are playing Leinster Lightning in the golf, so they'll probably get 3 or 4 rounds in during this month. And
Ryder Cup format.
It is, yeah. They played an interesting one yesterday where the Knights played together and the Lightning played together, and they kind of faced off each other blind without knowing each other's scores until they got to the 18th green. So it was
Were they honest enough with the scores, though?
Well, I hope so.
Big appeal. The umpire, he's going to go
It's very difficult to tell from this angle, but obviously the way the ball hit Barry after it hit the stumps, hit Harry after it hit the stumps means it was at least very close to him being in.
Televised T20 international relation board here. Standing piece of fielding, you can often tell from the reaction from the fielders, and Harry Towner is going to have to go for just one delivery, one-handed pick-up, direct hit, extra cover. Sterling never looked for the single because Towner was backing up so far. Ends up this wicket.
Yeah, once again, just that fielding, outstanding bit of work that's bought them a wicket.
Centre of gravity, quick to the ball, one-handed pick up, one down the stumps and wait for the ball. One wicket that's brought therefore since they broke that partnership with Sterling and Valverde. The 1-8. So Gary Wilson comes to the crease now, number 5. Away by Paul Sterling. So really good over from Donaldson, Radvanchi, and he's going to finish 1 for 23 from his 4 overs. Left arm spinner who burst onto the scene in the Everest Premier League. I called him a star of the future. He's really showing he's got what it takes for the top level as well. 12 overs, Ireland 26 for 3. Chris, the Irish manager is quite right. Quite as happy right now.
No, it's always difficult when you lose a couple of quick wickets, and something that's really key is making sure you don't have 2 new batsmen at the crease, which it's still positive that we've still got Paul Sterling there. He's well set and 48 not out, and hopefully Gary can help take things along the other end while Paul keeps moving on.
Just checking that we have all our audio correct. I think the excitement of these 2 wickets has maybe put a bit of those down, but we'll just get that checked. Sampal Kami's going to continue from the Al Amarat end. 12 overs gone, Ireland 96 for 3, having won the toss this morning, batting first. The Irish captain into the crease at number 5.
Yeah, it's a great start for Ireland, and just those 2 wickets just hopefully don't peg things back too much, but Nepal definitely look like they've got a bit more buzz in the field. Certainly a lot more noise coming up from the inner ring there.
Short ball, good pace. Way by Gary Wilson, just going to be a single. Tell us a little bit about the plans coming up, Chris. You fly into Abu Dhabi on Friday.
Yeah, so we have a day off here tomorrow while the other 4 teams play the final game, and then we fly in Abu Dhabi on Friday morning. We've got 2 days of where we do all our anti-doping work, our anti-corruption, and do all the kind of pre-series stuff and media commitments that you would normally have before we have a couple of warm-up games.
So that's going to be 50 for Paul Sterling. Brought up with a boundary into the leg side, a glorious shot from him. And it's been an outstanding knock from Sterling. Comes from 38 deliveries. And after a calf injury that held up Sterling's progress a little, and he missed the full triangular series in Dublin, he's back with a bang. 52 coming off 38 deliveries, 6 fours and 2 sixes. How crucial is Paul Sterling to this Irish side, Chris?
Oh, well, it's like I said, really the whole top three are crucial to us, in that if one of them's getting runs, then we're going to be in a very good place. And Kevin did it for us the other day, and Paul looks like he's doing it today for us. If he kicks on here and gets 80, 90 or hopefully even 100, then we're going to be in an outstanding position to win this game.
Yeah, apologies for those audio issues. Apparently Chris Siddle you could hear fine, but you can only hear me in the background. We are back now. Cammy's got the short ball out. Paul Sterling ducks underneath. It's a glorious setting here in about 15 minutes outside of Muscat. Have the squad enjoyed their time here in Oman?
Yeah, it's a great place to be. I think the grounds are fantastic. You can see the mountains all around. It's maybe a little bit warmer here than it is in downtown Muscat because it's away from the sea. But it's a real nice place. It's real friendly. It's kind of similar feel to Dubai, but a little smaller, a little less rushed, a little quieter. So they've still got the big malls you can walk around and air conditioning and kind of have some nice food. And some of the guys have enjoyed the golf and a bit of something for everyone here, which is great.
Sterling flicks that one into the leg side, and fortune again. It seems like he's toyed with Avinash Bahar all day, but good fielding in the deep. Cuts off the boundary. Gary Wilson really quick between the wickets. Will get back for three. Good energy from Sterling. So he will keep the strike at the end of that 13th over. Ireland bringing the 100 up in that over. 104 for three. Getting your messages all from around the world. Plenty of people listening back in Dublin. Getting messages coming in from Kathmandu, from Pokhara, all over Nepal. Watching in your thousands right across the world. So you're very welcome, and thank you for joining us here. Andrew Leonard bringing you these pictures with cricket clubs and Oman cricket. And we're going to have Chris Siddle with us for one more over. The Irish team manager, as his side prepare and build up for the T20 World Cup qualifiers in the UAE. That starts next week, and a lot of those games are going to be televised. That must be something that the team are looking forward to as well.
Yeah, it's always great. Obviously everyone's got a lot of family and a lot of friends back home that want to watch the games, so sometimes it can be frustrating if we're playing away somewhere and there's no way of watching them. So it's great that I think 4 out of our 6 games in the group are going to be televised. I think Sky Sports are picking them up in the UK and Ireland, and then hopefully semi-final and final will also be in there and we'll be able to watch that as well.
Sandeep Lamachani back into the attack now. He's already taken 1 wicket today, and he could well have had a second. Avinash Bahara dropping Paul Sterling in Lamachani's second over. Lamachani will be looking to get the scalp of the Irish opener. Shorter delivery, punched down the ground into the leg side, and you can hear Chris Siddle laughing in the background. All the messages coming in because of those audio issues. Glad to know that everyone's listening back home in Ireland.
Yeah, it's a little worrying to see some of the messages that I should maybe give up the mic that's working and give it to you, but no, it's always great to know that there's people back home have the chance to watch, and we know we have a lot of support, and it's great to have that support. And
yeah, people watching in there now, tens of thousands from right around the world. The fanaticism we see, particularly for the Nepal side, is possibly second to none really in world cricket. And they love Sandeep Lamachani bowling his leg spin, and he's just finding some turn now as well. Wilson was looking for the paddle sweep and ended up leaving it really through to the keeper. Good captaincy from Paris Kadka, slip in place as well himself.
yeah, I just think that's got a little bit of grip and bounce, and probably a wise move to just make sure he didn't get anything on it with the slip in place there. I think without the slip he maybe would have tried to angle it down that side rather than pull out of the shot completely.
Really good bowling this from Lamachani, just clipped into the leg side for a single. Chris, can I ask you a little bit about your schedule for the T20 World Cup qualifiers? As you said, you will be taking on the hosts of the UAE, but you'll also be coming up against Oman, who beat you here. But you'll start off with the challenge of Hong Kong, who have a man you'll know pretty well in their head coach, Trent Johnson.
Yeah, I think the key is that Trent will know us very well as well, and as much as we got the better of them here, I know they've had a few changes in their squad, and since Trent's came in, and they're going to be working very hard to make sure they hit the ground running there. Just swept away by Paul Sterling, just be one out to the deep. But yeah, Trent's going to give us a real challenge in that first game, and then we move on to the UAE, which we know, especially there in a day-night match, is going to be very tough. And probably Oman straight after that. You could argue that the first 3 games are going to be our 3 toughest games in that group, and then hopefully we're in a great position from there. And we're going to have, if we do win those first 3 games, everyone else is going to be looking to try and knock us off that top spot.
Cut away by Wilson. It's a shot he likes, but there's protection in the deep. Deep backward point, that's Arif Sheikh. Just before we let you go, Chris, you'll know a little bit about Canada, but perhaps some unknown quantities in the likes of Jersey and Nigeria to finish the group then?
Yeah, I think Jersey's one we probably know quite a fair bit about. They're obviously very close to us. We have under-19s have played there a lot, and it would be we do know quite a bit about them. Nigeria probably a little more of an unknown. There weren't someone who qualified directly. It's obviously Zimbabwe been left out of the tournament and them coming in quite late. We've got some videos with some knowledge, but they're probably the one team that we know least about out of the 6 in our group.
Here are the thoughts of Chris Siddle, the Irish manager. We thank you for your time, Chris, and we might hear from you later in the week as well. But we wish Chris and his side all the best going across to the UAE for the T20 World Cup qualifiers. And as we bid Chris Siddle farewell, I'll welcome back Jamil Zaidi. And Jamil, this Irish innings that was flying just moments ago, those 2 wickets have really stifled their momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. Some excellent fielding by the Nepal fielders and very accurate bowling from their bowlers kept the momentum which was started by Paul string Abel Prani has been come up to halt a bit, and they're looking for the singles.
Yeah, Avinash Bahar has changed ends. He's coming in now from the Al Amarad end. And that piece of fielding you were talking about, Dipender Singh Airi swept in with one hand, the direct hit, and wasn't it brilliant to see the technology used to correctly give the run out of Harry Tector out?
Oman first time is using this technique at our levels, because in the entire Gulf other than Oman, nobody is using those techniques like DRS. Gradually we are trying to have the other LBW and government decisions as well. So I've been in Ireland for more than 2 months in 2015, being the one national team, and for the T20 qualifiers.
Slightly different weather there, of course, you experienced in Ireland and Scotland, Jamil, but that was the famous entrance of Oman cricket really to the world when they qualified for the first time for the World T20.
Absolutely. So it's the historic and memorable win for Oman. At Malahide, we beat Namibia in the last ball of the over, and then qualified for the World T20 in India.
Yeah, and I remember those scenes of celebration as Oman really came into the event as dark horses, a bit of an unknown quantity. I think you were ranked 28th or 29th in the world, but no one's going to be surprised if Oman go and qualify next week now, or in the coming weeks in the UAE. They'll be one of the favourites going into a group that includes Ireland and the UAE. Wilson looking for the quick single. And because of the misfield from Sampal Kami, they'll get back for 2. He was looking for the one-handed pick-up. A direct hit would have been close. Wilson had to get the dive out. The end result will be 2 runs.
That was some historic moments for us, Oman, after qualifying the World T20. And in T20 also we made an history by beating Ireland that time. That was also a very, very, you cannot see once in a life you got those chances. And we have that one in Ireland. We never thought that, but the way we started, we really come up with win. And that was a fantastic win at Ireland in India also.
This is really good tight stuff from the Nepal bowlers through the middle here. Ireland were 87 for 1 after 10, but the last 4 overs has brought just 25 runs. Last 4.5 overs and 2 wickets. And the momentum is really starting to disappear out of this Irish innings. Nepal arguably the happier of the 2 sides right now, you'd have to think. And Avinash Bahar is so well known for his death bowling, trying to find those Yorkers. There's a huge appeal, and it's given. Wilson was looking for the paddle sweep shot, but he's been trapped right in front. He slammed his pad in frustration, but Avinash Bahar, just as I was saying it, he's so well known for finding the block hole, and he's found the block hole perfectly. And the umpire deciding that was going to go on and hit the stumps. Just bringing you the replay here, and you can see why. He struck right in front of middle. Good decision, and Wilson pays the price for playing across the line.
This is what I said. I mean, the pressure that has been put on by Nepal so far in the last couple of overs really now giving them good results. because runs are not coming the way it came when Paul and Balbrini was there. So ultimately they have to keep up the run rate up. At one stage it was 8.5, now it's come down to 7 point something.
Yeah, the run rate really starting to stagnate for Ireland. It's dropped to 7.5 and over. That partnership between Balbirnie and Sterling was worth 88 runs, and it came in less than 10 overs. So it was really good batting from that pair. But Nepal coming back into this match now, and you can maybe even make the argument with just 5 overs left after this one that they're on top. Certainly the happier of the two coaches at the moment is going to be Umwesh Patwell, the head coach of Nepal. Graham Ford, Ireland's head coach, will be disappointed with what's happened, but with Paul Sterling still there and Mark Adair to the crease now, 2 big hitters in for Ireland.
I think Paul has got the key in his hand now. As long as he's there on the wicket, so I hope that runs will be coming continuously, because the other batsmen had to take the time to, get them off on the wicket right now. Paul has the key in his hand,
That is what Avinash Bahara does with such regularity. It's staggering. He finds the block hole and beats Mark Adair for his first delivery. So a dot ball to finish a really good over for Nepal. Just 4 runs coming from it. And with 5 overs left in the match, in the first innings in fact, Ireland 112 for 4. Let's take a look at the batting card. Just exactly what we were talking about, Jamil. Outside of Andy Balbirnie's 38 off 28 and Paul Sterling, who's still there, 58 off 45. The rest of the batsmen haven't been able to get going.
As I said you that Paul has to be there till the end of 20th over. That will make a healthy, run score for Ireland, because he's the one who is now seeing the ball well, playing his shots. But, it was subdued in between because some excellent bowling from Nepal and excellent fielding, though there are 2 drop catches as well. But still, I think Ireland can go, what I expect, about 170, 180 runs that I'm looking for, the way things are going. That will be a good total for them to defend.
Yeah, and they're going to have to go some to get up to that sort of position. But Paris Kadka has really changed his bowlers well. And he's going to bring Karen KC back into the attack. He starts with a short ball, pulled into the deep. Such an expert leader, Paris Kadka. He's marshalling his troops brilliantly here.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. From 8.5, the rain rate came down to 7.4 and got some couple of wickets in between. In fact, so far Nepal has not chased a big target. They chased 125 and 133. So any target about 170 will be a very, very good defending total for Ireland.
Comes off the inside edge, going to be half a chance, a direct hit, big appeal, and I think we're going to see another one being referred up to the third umpire. We are indeed. So this brilliant technology that Oman Cricket have installed here, but Mark Adair's given up the ghost. He thinks he's out, he's already walking off, but we're going to have to wait for the third umpire. That's Hari Krishna in the box, who will get the footage from the side angles. We'll bring you our own replay here. We won't be able to show you the side replay, but it came off the inside edge of Mark Adair onto the thigh pad. I just wonder, was it Dipendra Singh Airi yet again? In fact, no, it wasn't. It was Karen KC who sprinted around, and from that evidence, it looks like Mark Adair is going to have to go. The second run out of the innings, brilliant from Nepal.
Of course, as I told you, they really come up from the last couple of 5-6 overs, not letting the batsmen to go for the runs, and some excellent fielding earlier. There was a brilliant run out of Balbrini, and now once again another brilliant wicket for them. Really put pressure on Ireland.
Yeah, and Mark Adair just had to hold, as you could see on your pictures, on the edge of the rope. He was certain he was out. You often know as a batsman whether you're caught short or not. But this remarkable resurgence from Nepal continues, because Ireland are collapsing in a heap here, really. Moments ago, Ireland were 95 for 1. They've lost 4 wickets for just 18 runs. Absolutely outstanding stuff as Barry McCarthy runs on. A fresh set of gloves to Paul Sterling. And the whole time Paul Sterling has just been sitting and watching from the far end as the carnage is played out. So Markaders stay at the crease. Another short one. Gareth Delaney now to the wicket. He's going to come in at number 7. But Nepal captain Kadka, he's putting on an absolute masterclass here of captaincy. He's rotated his bowlers brilliantly. And this less fancied Nepal side, the only side here who aren't going to be at the T20 World Cup qualifier, they're on top as Sterling heaves that one into the deep. Could this be another wicket? It will be. Sterling's going to fall for 59. Karen Casey is absolutely delighted, and the Nepalese fans who have come in for this early start here on a Monday, they follow their side all around the world, are delighted. Yet another wicket. Ireland have now lost 4 wickets for 18 runs, 5 wickets for 18 runs. It was a short ball from Karen Casey, heaved into the leg side, but he could only pick out the fielder. He was out at Cow Corner. He takes a good catch. Sterling's gone for 59. Nepal right on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you one thing, Andrew, that during against Oman, Ireland started brilliantly in the first couple of overs. Kevin and Balbrin, they did a Paul Sterling. And after scoring about 9 runs an over, in the next 4 or 5 overs, they lost about 5-6 wickets. Today it has come. It's a familiar collapse, looks like to be.
Just goes to show as well, pressure, T20 cricket and momentum. So Paul Sterling falls for 59 off 47 deliveries, 6 4s and 2 6s. And what does that mean for this points table? We're just going to give you a quick look at that, because remember, the winner this morning will go to the top of the table. Perhaps only for a short period. Oman will play the Netherlands this afternoon. They'll be looking to get back on top of the table themselves. But if Nepal can win here, they will move to 6 points. And they'll make it a perfect 3 from 3 this week. And who would have predicted that? They're the only one of the 5 sides here not at the T20 World Cup qualifier. But the underdogs coming into this week, showing why they're a side to be feared, even against the test nation that is Ireland. Simi Singh, the new man to the crease, he's at number 8 for Ireland. Very fine batsman as well. Perhaps hasn't got the weight of runs that he would have liked for Ireland. But Karen Casey finding his first wicket with the ball to go alongside that run out. Those 2 wickets falling off back-to-back deliveries. Nepal right on top. Are they going to win this game?
Well, you know, in cricket, you cannot say anything to the last ball being bowled. It's still 4 or 5 or 4.2 hours to go, and I believe if they scored about 150, that will be a very fighting total for them to defend. They have got a very good lively pace attack with Rankin there and some other players. So I hope that 150 is a very, very good title to defend.
And of course, Nepal probably better known for their bowling stars as opposed to their batsmen, with the exception of Paris Kadka, of course. But they're going to have to lean upon the likes of Dipendra Singh Airi, Ishan Pandey as well coming into the side today. Remember, Rohit Paudel and Pawan Saraf both out of the team. This youthful Nepal lineup. Lots of men born in the 2000s on our date of births in front of us here. But they'll fancy that chase of around 140, 150. And Ireland still have a way to go to get up to 140 or 150. Gareth Delaney, he's on none. Simi Singh on 1. Delaney will get off the mark with a nice shot through the offside. Should get back for 2. Will do. Good backing up as well. Nepal have been really a buzz in the field. 2 wickets in that over. 4 runs coming from it. After 16, Ireland remarkably, they're 116 for 6.
I think both Mark and Delaney should be there till the end of the 20th over, because the run rate has come down to 7.2 from almost 9 in the couple of overs. And Ireland is the most star-studded team in this pentangular tournament. As we all said, this is a very, good chance, a prelude to the qualifier in Dubai. Every team has got equal chance at getting maximum practice and acclimatize themselves to the conditions prevailing in this part of the world. Humid and hot.
It is humid and hot, and that's the Irish batting card on your screen there. Outside of Paul Sterling's 59 and Andrew Balbirnie's 38. A series of low scores from from the rest of the batsmen. Just 5 for Kevin O'Brien, the Centurion against Hong Kong. 1 for Tector, 6 for Wilson, and second ball duck. That brilliant run out from Karen KC. Avinash Bahar is going to continue with his death bowling. He just finds that block hole with reckless abandon, doesn't he?
Lovely bowling, using his variations, blocking and putting into the Yorkers. It's really giving them a beautiful chance to contain Ireland, which at one stage we are expecting about 160, 170 when Paul was batting and Balbrini was batting. But now they really stopped all the run chase that has been coming up from both those two and got at most 6 wickets just in the span of 24, 25 runs.
Finds the block hole again, but Singh can work it down to Sandeep Jura, who's down at long on. Just going to be a single. Yeah, let's take a look at the bowling options that Nepal have left in this innings. Paras Khadka, just the one over for him, so we'll likely see Sandeep Lamachani at some point. We've Sampal Kami and Karen KC as well, but all 5 of the frontline bowlers for Nepal doing a really good job, and that final over from Lalit Rajbanshi was such a crucial one. So brave, the youngster, to toss it up and tempt Andy Balbirnie down the crease, and that stumping has proved a bit of a turning point in the innings. Delaney hammers that straight to Paras Khadka in the covers. You've been impressed with Nepal throughout the week?
Well, I think the way they're batting and they're fielding, as I mentioned earlier, they're not chasing a big targets, but their fielding and determination to come through is absolutely fantastic. And the match they won against Netherlands was really a thriller. Difficult for any batsman to hit 17 runs and over, and this guy Karan has done that one.
Looks for the block hole again, but can only find a full toss, but Nepal won't mind that because Gareth Delaney has picked out the deep cover fielder. Just going to be another single. Ireland operating in singles at the moment. They can't find the rope. I'll give you one remarkable stat. Outside of a solitary boundary from Kevin O'Brien, nobody in this Irish innings apart from Paul Sterling and Andy Balbirnie have found the rope yet. So it gives you an idea of the struggles the Irish batsmen have had against this varied Nepal attack. Brilliant bowling from Avinash Bahar. Finds the block hole again. Simi Singh can't get bat on that.
Absolutely, really, Nepal is right on top at the moment. Just subdued the Ireland batsmen. The free scoring they were having a couple of overs before. 95 for 1 and then 118 for 6. Same thing happened to them against Oman as well.
Just going to be a single. Avinash Bahar finds the block hole again. Singh hammers it down the ground. It wasn't a dropped because it was on the volley, the half volley back to Bahara, but a brilliant over. Just 3 runs coming from it, and with 3 overs left, this Ireland innings is going nowhere in a hurry. It's 119 for 6 now. Remember, after 11 overs they were 95 for 2, but the last 6 overs or so have brought just 24 runs and 5 wickets. This is dreamland for Nepal and their fans, watching from all around the world in their thousands. Seeing huge numbers tune into the stream here. And Nepal will be thinking that they can take the win and set up a winner-takes-all showdown against the host Oman tomorrow.
Absolutely. Actually, the Nepal, they didn't go for the qualifier, but team like Nepal, they dented the hope of some other teams who are vying for the qualifier in Dubai. So it is really very, very critical for other teams to play on. Lovely bowling now, right down.
Yeah, that's Lamachani back into the attack. Take a look at the replay of that. Beautifully bowled by the leg spinner. We can see why he's such a asset in franchise cricket right around the world. Singh looked outside the leg stump, but it beat him all ends up. Sharp turn from Lamachani. Cut away this time by Singh again, looking to give himself room outside the leg stump, but only for a single. And the reason Nepal aren't going to that T20 World Cup qualifier is because they couldn't get past a group of Singapore, Qatar, Kuwait and Malaysia. They ended up winning 2 matches and losing 2. They lost to both Qatar and Singapore. So We won't be seeing them at the qualifier. Delaney looks to heave that one into the leg side. All he can do is find an outside edge. Lamachani proving a little bit too good for the Irish batsman here.
As I told you, he's one of the world class like a spinner. And I'm really wondering, exactly the similar scenarios against Oman, Ireland. They started very well, and I think 34, 35 for one, and then 130 all out. And today almost the identical things are happening. They were 95 for one, and then 127 for 8 now. 6 are.
Again, just a single. Ireland can't find any late momentum, and the thing that's impressed me so much is just how well Paris Katka's rotated his bowlers. He's managed to pull off a tactical masterclass here to arrest any of the momentum Ireland had in this innings. Put his side on top. Slower through the air, hit into the offside. What a catch, that's absolutely outstanding. Paris Katka gets a huge cheer from the Nepalese crowd behind him. He dives full length to his right. It's yet another wicket for Sandeep Lamachani. One of the catches of the tournament this is. Absolutely outstanding from Paris Katka. Bring you the replays here on your screen. It was slower through the air from Lamachani. Tossed up outside the off stump. Delaney looked to hammer it away. Paris Katka dove full length to his right, and didn't he get a big cheer from the big crowd here?
He's a very shrewd captain, Andrew, I'll tell you one thing, and he leads the team in front, He's a very, very good batsman also. Whenever his team requires his batting, he's there, and he's an occasional bowler as well. Always tried to come to break the partnerships. But today, unfortunately, he was very good beaten by Paul, and that's...
Yeah, and with that wicket, Lamachani moves back top of the 2019 table of T20 international wicket takers, going back above Karen KC, having a bit of a tussle with his Nepal teammate there. 26 wickets this year at an economy of 6.5 and a remarkable average of 13.8. You can see he's such a man in demand all the way around the world. He could even have had a third wicket today had Avinash Bahara been able to hang on at short fine leg. He dropped Paul Sterling earlier in the day, and with just one ball left in the 18th over, Stuart Thompson comes to the crease. He's in at number 9 for Ireland. This Irish collapse continues. Beautifully bowled, squares up the googly from Lamachani. He can just about get some bat down on that. What a spell from the youngster, the superstar that is Sandeep Lamachani. Remarkably still just 19 years of age. And he's going to finish with 2 for 21. Ireland continue to struggle. 123 for 7 now.
Absolute fantastic bowling from this young chap that is famous for, he's with the balls, wanted played in all T20 tournaments all around the world. And he's keeping that position himself, being one of the best leg spinners in the world, along with Rashid Khan, as I said, Afghanistan, and Shadab Khan of Pakistan. They are very young guys, and really they're long career ahead.
Yeah, we'll just see if we can get a quick look at the bowling figures as well. So that confirms Sandeep Lamachani's 2 for 21. We're going to see Avinash Bahara bowl the penultimate over of the match now. He'll close out his 4-over spell, and then Paris Katka will decide whether to go to Sampal Kami or Karen Casey. So Bahara finds the block hole again, and Thompson can't get this away. Ireland have not hit a boundary for nearly 8 overs now, over 7 overs of the match, which in a T20 international and what looks like a good batting wicket to me is a real surprise.
Yeah, as I told you, all last 3 days the wicket played perfectly well, and everybody was getting equal chance, batting, batsmen, all. But again, I think Ireland had to look back to their batting conditions, because in the beginning they did a fantastic job. In the middle, they had to get someone who carry on the winnings till the 20th over.
That just hasn't happened. Nobody's been able to find the boundary outside of Balbirnie. and Paul Sterling. Thompson hammered that one down the ground, but easily cut off by Karen KC for a single. Just 10 deliveries remain. We were talking about 150. Surely Ireland might be lucky to get to 140 at this rate. 10 deliveries left, 124 for 7. Slower ball hit into the sky, right down towards Karen KC, who's at long on. And he takes a quite sensational catch, keeps his feet inside the rope. Absolutely outstanding from Nepal. Yet another wicket. For a moment it looked like it was going to soar for 6 from Simi Singh, but Karen KC judged that perfectly, just inches inside the rope at long on, right in front of our commentary position. It was a slower ball from Avanesh Bahara. You can see he just checked his foot in front of the rope to make sure he was inside. Plucked it like an apple falling from a tree. Outstanding from Nepal.
You see the confidence of Karen. I mean, he just stood on his ground, looking top of the ball, and just kept himself inside inches of the boundary and took a great catch. As I mentioned earlier, this Nepal team is very sharp in the fielding side. They're bowling, but I think they do have batting problems, but they just come up that their batting problems by fielding brilliantly and bowling not.
It's been all Nepal for the last 30 minutes or so. If you're just joining us, Ireland were 95 for 1 after 11 overs and right on top. And we've seen a collapse of rather epic proportions. But Karen KC has held on to an absolute cracker there at long on. Brings George Dockrell to the crease. He's not on strike. Stuart Thompson, as the batsman had crossed, thuds into his pad for a leg by. There is batting right the way down this Irish lineup, but just nobody's been able to get going, really, have they?
Yeah, of course. As I told you, the pressure was built on the Ireland batsmen. Did some excellent fielding and superb bowling by Nepal. It kept the pressure on the Irish batsmen, and they fell in that trap.
Absolutely outstanding again from Avanesh Bahara, but he can't field it off his own bowling. He does find the block hole yet again, but Nepal continue their sharp work in the field. Although Karen KC getting a bit of a scolding from the umpire for throwing that one in on the bounce and scuffing the ball up. But just a single for Dockrell. No one's been able to find the rope for Ireland. You'd have to think that Nepal are going to be very confident of making it 3 wins from their 3 matches so far. Andrew Leonard here with Jamil Zaidi, bringing you these pictures from the beautiful Oman Cricket Academy here in Muscat, just outside Muscat in Al Amirat. Thompson heaves that one into the leg side. Just going to be a single again. Closes out yet another outstanding over. 19 overs gone. Ireland 127 for 8.
Well, it is all credit goes to the Nepal fielders and bowlers to keep the Irish batsmen in check. And it is really very, very unfortunate the way they started 95 for 1. You were expecting a total of about 160 to 170. And then suddenly the Nepal bowlers done a great job and come back into the game. Now they're struggling at 127 for 8. Their 20th over is underway right.
And Paris Kadka is going to go with Karen KC, so Sampal Kami will have an over to spare because of that solitary over that Paris Kadka bowled. I'll show you the bowling figures again here. 5 of the 6 bowlers used for Nepal doing an outstanding job. Just a solitary over for Paris Kadka. Avanesh Bahara finishes with 2 for 22 from his 4 overs. Sampal Kami proving a little expensive but bowling with good pace. So Karen KC will close the innings out, the final over of the first innings. Thompson heaves that one into the leg side. We're going to have a boundary finally for Ireland. Huge cheers from the bench on the sideline. It's been a nervous 7 or 8 overs for them. But Karen KC dropped that one short. Thompson picked up the length quickly and dispatched it over the rope on the leg side.
Well, this is the first 6 in, I think, last 6-7 overs from Ireland. At least give the cross 130 figure. And last over is in progress. Karan, a very good medium pacer, right arm over the wicket. Nicely played out towards the deep point, and they go for quick two.
Yeah, really good running from Stuart Thompson. Will get him back for two. It's the first boundary since the 13th over, remarkably. As soon as Paul Sterling fell, the innings has really struggled for any momentum. But that six from Thompson will just give a little G up to the Irish fans watching here. Hopeful of maybe getting up above that 140 mark. Could be competitive. Very similar total that Nepal had to chase against Netherlands, and they only did it by the skin of their teeth. So we could have a really good T20 international on our hands here.
I think 140 definitely good total to defend as far as the Irish bowling is concerned. Dockrell is a very good spinner. I've seen him bowling very well. They do have one more spinner. So if they bowl well, they field well, I hope that they will be among the winners.
That's another six from Stuart Thompson. He's enjoying the short stuff from Karen KC. Drops it short again, this time around the wicket. Hammers it over long on. Just for a moment, long on thought he was in action, but it's gone over his head, and Thompson hits the second six of his innings. Just clearing that front leg and powerfully hitting it down the ground. Crucial late runs coming in the final over. Nepal just not getting out of their innings here.
To me, these are the bonus runs that you score. 2 sixes, really it's good, and I'll come back to at least a respectable total, around 150, what we were expecting, me and Andrew, you both. So Cullen's going to bowl the last over.
Yeah, just 3 deliveries remain now. 2 sixes off the first 2 balls. KC will come around, changes action to come over the wicket. In fact, he finds the block hole. Thompson looking for the paddle. Not able to get any bet on that. Ireland all of a sudden still thinking about that 150 mark that they would have hoped for earlier in the day. Run rate back over 7 and over for Ireland for the first time in a little while. That one flies off the outside edge. Third man is outside the circle. He makes a really good stop. It's Avinash Bahara, who's had a difficult day. Really good running as well from Stuart Thompson. He'll sprint back for 2, so he'll have the strike for the final ball of the over.
Fantastic batting. This is what you are looking for from the last 6-7 overs, but finally it came in the last over. And I tell many answered that it will be the bonus runs that we have right now by these two. And I hope that with this 147, 188 figure, Ireland definitely will come up with some brilliant fielding and bowling as they are famous for.
It was really good work down at third man from Avinash Bahara. He's had a tough day in the field, dropped 2 chances. Outside of that, it's been flawless from every single one of the Nepal fielders. Been something that Umesh Patwell has put a real focus on since he's come into his post as the head coach for Nepal. Final ball of the innings. Hit into the offside by Thompson. They're going to push for 2. Cleanly picked up. Dockrell very quick between the wickets, and they will get back for 2. So a really good cameo from Stuart Thompson. He's going to finish with 21 not out off 11 deliveries. Just given a little bit of a late surge to an Irish innings that fell away drastically after a partnership